Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie and today I'm going to be showing you a quick look of the Medieval Cat Tarot. So this is a deck that I've had for quite some time now. It's one of my favorites. I actually bought this quite some time ago at a cute little occult shop in Toronto. It's actually called The Occult Shop, and this one I've had for several years now. So I'm just going to show you the box and what it looks like. So the box is quite glossy, and so are the cards, which is kind of like a a theme among this one. So this one shows a cute The Popus card with the cat on it. And the artwork in this is very beautiful. And this is the Medieval Cat Tarot by Lawrence Teng. I'm going to just open it up for you guys. And because I have used this deck many times, the cards are not in order. I don't put them back in order when I am finished with them. I actually just put them back in the box as is. I don't really do anything in particular in putting them back in a specific order. So this is what it looks like. There are actually these two cards that it comes with, which is kind of like a book cover and then a description of the cards. So this says, illuminated cats, the cat's role in occult practice often overshadowed its more mundane side as a domesticated creature. Cats were not always worshipped, nor were they always persecuted, for there were times in between these two extremes when cats were allowed to simply be cherished household pets. In fact, the majority of the historic engravings and paintings that we can find depicting Felis domesticus portray cats as ordinary creatures. The Medieval Cat Tarot took this same domestic approach and added a new twist to it by having the cats act out the scenes of the tarot. Inspired by 15th century art, this enlightening art project culminated with an illuminated cat deck that seeks to bridge a gap between the traditional and modern tarot imagery. So this is a beautiful deck, and it is quite comparable to the Rider-Waite tarot deck, which I do not own, but it is one of my favorites out of the whole collection that I have right now. I tend to use this as my kind of main deck, and it's the one that I just tend to gravitate to. I just use it a lot. So it comes with this little guidebook. I used to rely heavily on this thing, but now that I am more venerated in this deck, I don't really use it that much anymore. But it does have an explanation on all of the cards. So the major arcana, and then you go all the way back here, and there is the minor arcana, and it just goes through all the cards. And there's kind of like, a little paragraph for each one. You go all the way to the back, and there is a suggestion of different spreads you can do. So this one is the cards curve. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And this one, there's also a short but sweet spread. This one right here, 12 cards. There's also an explanation as to which placement of the cards means what. So it also shows pairs. And then on the back of this shows like a little blurb of all the other tarot decks that this publisher has made as well. And of course, cartomancy and games. So, without further ado, I'm going to get started showing you guys what this deck and each card, what they look like. So, first, I'm going to show you how glossy these are. It's quite a nice texture. These feel very nice, but the cards themselves are quite flexible. I don't find that to be all that jarring. I actually really like the way that these cards feel, especially when you put them all together. It's just quite a thick deck and doesn't seem to be all that, you know, it feels pretty durable in my hands. So it's not something that I feel like would break right away. And I do like how smooth it is. So when you want to shuffle, these cards feel very smooth to me. However, when you try to shuffle, like you have to kind of jostle them in order to get them to go through each other. Like I'm having trouble right now just showing you, but I really need to jostle these in order to get them to shuffle properly. And this is literally how I have to shuffle each time. I'm not very good at shuffling anything at all. But there we go, finally. Anyway, so this is the back of each card. So I'm just going to show it to you really up close. So you can see how detailed this is. And the front of the card, this one is the 6 of coins. So this one, I believe it does go by coins rather than pentacles. Each deck is different, but you know, it's essentially the same idea. Let's go through the rest of this deck. The Queen of Cups. This is a really beautiful card. If you take a look, it's kind of blurry, but if you take a look, there's like a pattern up here, and you can see so much detail in the cat's face. Like you could see that she's got some blush on. You can see the texture of her robe is fuzzy, and you don't normally get this kind of detail with, you know, that many decks. So I really appreciate that, especially since there's like a border on each card. It's absolutely gorgeous. Next one is the Page of Swords. You can really get the kind of childlike emotion from this card, especially with the kite there. It's really, really great. And I like the texture and coloring of the grass. You can really tell that they put a lot of effort into the artwork of this one. The Hanged Man. So this one, instead of him being upside down, he's on his side, kind of, you know, trapped in this rope. But the symbolism is still there. You can still get that from this. 9 of Swords. Again, with the beautiful background on this one. 3 of Cups. And I know, I'm sorry that everything's out of order. Like I said before, I usually just put them back in no particular order, so that's why it's all jostled up and everything, especially since I already shuffled. 10 of Swords. This one's also beautiful. 8 of Cups. You can see a little imagery in the middle there of him throwing those chalices in the pit there. 9 of Cups. 8 of Wands. I really like how they keep the symbolism in the middle there. There are a lot of decks out there that do not have any pictures on the minor arcana, and I really don't like that. So I really appreciate that, even though they show, you know, the swords or the cups or the coins, that they still have this imagery in the center there, because I'm a visual learner and I really like having that visual. So this one, 8 of Swords, 2 of Cups, the Hermit, 3 of Coins, 3 of Wands, 6 of Wands, King of Swords. I really like the court cards. They're very, very beautiful. And I like how the court cards also are full images rather than just the central image. It really helps you differentiate the court cards from the numbered ones. So this one is the 5 of Swords, the Strength card, Five of Wands, the Lovers, Queen of Coins, Page of Wands, the blurriness, 10 of Coins, King of Wands, Four of Cups, the Death card. So this, I find it very interesting how there are, you know, butterflies or moths maybe? They look more like butterflies to me, but there are butterflies surrounding this being. And I find that really interesting because most of the time when you get a death card, they want it to be, you know, scary, or it's really hard to understand it sometimes. But this one, I get a huge sense of transformation from this, which normally is what the death card symbolizes. Because, you know, it's a scary being, but there are all these butterflies around him, which could mean that, you know, like something scary is happening, but soon enough it'll turn into something beautiful, you know? Star card. Gorgeous. Oops. Knight of Swords. Ace of Swords. 5 of Coins. These cards also, because they are so glossy, they stick to each other when I try to like lift them up. Anyway, this is the Judgment card, the Sun, Knight of Cups, the Pope, 2 of Coins, the Tower. I really like this one too. Really shows the distraught emotions in these 2 cat characters and how everything is, you know, just becoming this huge mess. King of Cups, 7 of Swords, the Emperor, the Wheel of Fortune, 2 of Wands, 10 of Wands, the Fool, the Chariot, the Magician, Six of Cups, Ace of Cups, the Devil, Temperance, Queen of Wands, Five of Cups, Four of Coins, Four of Swords, Nine of Coins, Seven of Coins, Justice, Six of Swords, King of Coins. That's also very beautiful back there. Really showing that imagery. I'm going to show it again. Really showing that imagery of how he's, you know, abundant, and there's a lot in this card that you can get from it. Ace of Coins. I find it very interesting how there are these random possums. You know, I've always noticed it, but I never really thought much of it, because this is the Medieval Cat Tarot, but there are possums in the coin cards, which I found to be quite interesting. Page of Cups, the Moon. I actually never get this card in readings. I find that very interesting. This is one of the first times I'm actually looking at it for a long time. I did go through this deck when I first bought it. However, sometimes I completely forget some of these cards exist because I never get them showing up in readings. Three of Swords, sorry. The World. This is a gorgeous card as well. I love this imagery of the world and how there's like a all-seeing being, I guess. Very gorgeous. Seven of Wands, the Empress, Two of Swords, Queen of Swords, Knight of Wands, Ten of Cups, Eight of Coins, the Popus, Four of Wands, Knight of Coins, Ace of Wands, Page of Coins, Seven of Cups, and Nine of Wands. So this is a very beautiful deck, and I'm actually learning quite a lot about it just by showing you guys each of the cards, like how, let me just see if I can find them. That card, this card, like how there are not just cats in this deck. I never really paid attention to this before. That's quite interesting, I suppose. I'm just looking for the Swords card. There we go. So these are the aces of all of the minor arcana, the numbered cards, And there are not just cats in this deck. Let me see if I can fix the blurriness. There we go. There are not just cats in this deck. There are also fish, possums, birds, and lizards. So I find this quite interesting. I never really paid attention to this before, but yeah, there are more than just cats. And like I said before, I really like this deck, and I definitely want you to know that if you feel a calling to this deck, go for it, because this is one of my personal favorites, and you know, you can't really go wrong with that many decks, right? As long as you feel a calling to it, they're gonna work all the same for you. So, again, this was the Medieval Cat Tarot by Lawrence Ten. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys had a wonderful time watching this video. If you're not already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks! Bye!